Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Rink-Side with Hits and Clips. This is Noah Harney. This is going to be a solo episode as Zach and I, we are partners on this channel. And pretty much we collaborate our ideas and we get together whenever we can to record new episodes and cover new content through the NHL, AHL, CHL, which includes OHL, WHL, QMJHL, the Uxbridge Bruins in the PJHL, and the OJHL, and much more, including a special shout out to Scotland, who has been tuning in to our channel. So thank you so much for your support. Really appreciate it. Thank you for those who have been collaborating and interacting with us in the comments. We really love to see this channel grow as much as possible, especially if it's teams or specific leagues that you want us to cover. Well, since this is going to be a solo podcast episode, this is going to be episode number 6. And today we are going to be covering the PJHL, of what's been going on in the playoffs towards the Schmalz Cup. And then in episode number 7, we are going to be covering the OJHL and what that series in the playoffs is looking like towards the Buckland Cup. So let's get started. If you're new here on YouTube, thanks for tuning in. We really appreciate your support. Feel free to hit that like and subscribe button if you wish to do so, or if you prefer the audio version, be sure to go check us out over on Spotify. Yes, we have just launched our new podcast over on Spotify. We are looking to grow our content and our fan base as much as possible, especially with the hockey season starting to come to a close here, but that's when we're going to be the most busiest, releasing new episodes, covering more content. Now we got a whole lot of details. We're going to be breaking down the NHL trades. We're going to be breaking down the wildcard games that have been recently been happening. There were a whole bunch of wildcard games that happened in the NHL last night. And looks like the Montreal Canadiens are back in the wildcard spot since January. So that's something that I was really stoked about. But over in the West, we've got some more competitiveness, including the Vancouver Canucks, Calgary Flames, St. Louis Blues, and the Utah Hockey Club. So you're not going to want to miss that. But specifically for this episode, we are going to be covering the PJHL playoff tracker and what's been going on. So just to break it down, obviously, as everyone would know, me and my partner, Zach, we are heavily involved with the Uxbridge Bruins of the PJHL. Unfortunately, our series came to an end at the beginning of March with a close and consistent playoff series between us and the Port Perry Lumberjacks. That series went all the way to a Game 7, and it was heavily contested, but overall, Port Perry, they were able to move on, and they would end up facing the Clarington Eagles in the semifinals. That series would get swept as Clarington would move on to the division finals, which haven't yet necessarily have got underway yet at the time of this recording, but the Clarington Eagles are set to play the Georgina Ice on Thursday, which would be tomorrow at the time of this recording, March 20th, and that will be taking place in Clarington. Now, what else has been going around in the semifinals? Well, for anyone who is tuning in from other areas of the Provincial Junior Hockey League, Hanover, you took a sweep over Kincardine, and that one only needed 4 games. The Fergus Whalers, they defeated the Mount Forest Patriots in 5 games as they won that 4-1. The Aurelia Terriers, they defeated the Stainer Siskins 4-1. With the series, the Alliston Hornets defeated the Penetang Kings. Now, I want to give a special shout out to Penetang, my good friend Tyler. He works for the Kings, and they had a very close and consistent game going all the way to Game 7 over Huntsville. So congrats to you on that series win. However, the Alliston Hornets took out the Penetang Kings in 4 games over a sweep there. As mentioned, the Clarington Eagles knocked off the Port Perry Lumberjacks for the sweep 4-0. Georgina ended up sweeping the Schaumburg Cougars 4-0. Now, Schaumburg, and as I should mention, Schaumburg and Caledon, those are two teams that were swapped in the division with North Kawartha and Lakefield last season, doing some division realignment. So Schaumburg, they had a bye into the second round, but they ended up getting swept by Georgina. Napanee, they took the series 4-2 over Amersfoort. Frankfurt, they won 4-2 in Game 7, taking the series 4-3 over Lakefield. So the Chiefs' season has come to an end. Grimsby, they took the series over the Niagara Riverhawks 4-2. Dundas, they took the series 4-0 over Hagersville. And the New Hamburg Firebirds, they took the series over Woodstock 4-1. This series is currently still going, but it will all be determined on Thursday tomorrow, as the Wellesley Applejacks will take on the Norwich Merchants. And Wellesley currently has that series 3-2. We will see if they can take that series tomorrow, or Norwich will force a Game 7. And I just wanted to point out from the Wellesley Applejacks, Noah Bender, he was recently signed by the Oshawa Generals not too long ago last season, and he's now playing for the Flint Firebirds. So we will see if any further PJHL players will find themselves to the OHL next season, in the offseason. Exeter, they ended up defeating the Port Stanley Sailors with that series 4-3, and that also went to a Game 7. Petrolia, they ended up defeating Mount Bridges with the series of 4-2. Essex, they defeated Blindheim 4-1, and the Lakeshore Canadians defeated Amherstburg 4-0 of a sweep. So that's what we got so far going on in the PJHL playoffs run. Obviously, that was all just for the semifinals. But what are the PJHL division final matchups looking like? Well, like I said, the Wellesley Applejacks and the Norwich Merchants, they have their Game 7 happening tomorrow. So that series is yet to be determined for the finals yet. But Hanover will face the Fergus Whalers. The Alston Hornets will face the Aurelia Terrors. Clarington, as mentioned, will play Georgina. Frankfurt will go out to Napanee to play the Raiders. Dundas will face Grimsby. Petrolia will face Exeter, and Essex will play the Lakeshore Canadians. So personally, someone who grew up with the OJHL, this was a league that I started getting used to and a little bit more familiar with back in 2021. So to be honest, the only series I really am very familiar with is Frankfurt, Napanee, Clarington, Georgina, and Alston and Aurelia. But overall, we got some really competitive teams, likewise a reason why you would make it this far. Now, when I first joined the Uxbridge Bruins in 2021, obviously you go into the offseason, you're going to be making player moves. Individual players are going to move on and they'll finish off their PJHL career. But since I've been with the organization with the Bruins, every single year the Clarington Eagles have won the division finals. So I'm curious to know, is Clarington going to claim that title again? Or is Georgina going to take the reins over Clarington and, well, win the division finals this year? It's hard to say because both of these teams have been very dominant over the past season, over the past number of seasons, I should say. I personally feel that these two teams will go to a Game 7 if I'm being completely honest. But nevertheless to say, I think every single team who have made it to the finals thus far will be giving us quite the show as we get over to the Schmalz Cup. So that is a look of what's going on within the PJHL as of late. If anyone is tuning in and you do follow the PJHL, what is a series that has really caught your eye? And what are you looking forward to seeing as we get closer to claiming that Schmalz champion? Well, be sure to like and subscribe over on YouTube. We will be uploading this file over onto our YouTube channel as well as onto Spotify, of course. And did you also know that we're on Bluesky? That's right. Well, Twitter is no longer active on our end. We are over on Bluesky. Be sure to go follow us over on there. Everything that you see over on YouTube and Spotify, it's just very similar like Twitter, except, we will upload our posts. So far, we're promoting our channel, our YouTube, our Spotify, and then every individual episode we've done as of yet. So if you want to go follow us over on Bluesky, it's at Rink-Side social.bsky.social, and you can find us over there. And be sure to give us a follow if you want to stay up to date on the current news and topics that are going on within the hockey leagues going on as of right now. Now, as you can probably imagine, the hockey season, not just PJHL, OJHL, AJHL, OHL, CHL, all those leagues, but the NHL season, we're getting very close to the end. The CHL season is actually expected to end this coming Sunday, so the playoffs I would expect to start next Friday. That would include the OHL, WHL, and QMJHL. We will do a further episode discussing that. As I mentioned, my friend Zach and I will bring you more content specifically towards the NHL and what we'll be uncovering. But on my end, I thought I would release some more episodes since we've actually had some technical issues on our end and trying to really form our channel into the best way possible. So that's a reason why we've been unable to upload more recent episodes and videos throughout the season. But as the season is currently in motion and we get closer to the playoffs and the finals, depending whatever league you're following, then we've got you covered. We will cover it. And again, if you have any ideas or thoughts or your own opinions or any even teams or leagues that you want us to cover more specifically on, be sure to leave your comments down below. Give us a follow over on YouTube, Bluesky, and even Spotify. We really appreciate the support, and we look forward to discussing our next topics with you very soon. Until then, we'll see you soon.